Anu. Now, he wasn't the first one here, but he was considered to be the fatherhead or the Lord God. He was over the main gods that came to this planet. His name was Anu, A-N-U. Hence, the name that humans gave them, the Anunnaki. Okay, Anu. So they gave still credit to Anu as the fatherhead or the God figure. He mostly ruled from space or from the sky or from heaven, as the ancient texts say. And Anu had sons. Okay, his sons were Enki and Enlil. Enki and Enlil. Now, these two play a huge part in history and in a lot of the information that I'm talking about today. Now, these people, these three, are considered gods. They were deified by the peoples of earth. They masqueraded as gods, except for Enki, Enki. He kind of had a certain level of empathy and sympathy for human beings. He even married a human being. He used to have sex with human beings. He had a baby by a human being. You know, he one of his relationships resulted in a baby named Zazudra, who's actually Noah in the modern day Bible. And so the story is copied from the Epic of Gilgamesh. However, these people were not gods. They were flesh and blood people. They weren't multidimensional people. They weren't from some other universe. These were people that walked around just like we do. They put on their pants one leg at a time, right? Or their kilt, they pull it up over their hips, whatever. But they were knowledgeable. They had advanced technology. They had wisdom beyond what we had. They knew about genetics and how to modify genetics. They knew about chemistry. They knew about alchemy. They knew about quantum physics and quantum mechanics. They understood planetary alignments. They understood navigation through stars as left behind by some of these Sumerian tablets that depict star maps and from one star to another. So this is information left behind that it's not coming from Billy Carson's brain. It's coming from what they left behind as records for us to learn from and to understand exactly what went on in the ancient past. Now, what's interesting is these two were at odds with each other. You have on the right-hand side, you have Enlil. Now, this guy was given control of Earth, even though his brother Enki the Earth was named after him. His name is E-A, capital E, capital A, space, Enki. Now, Ki is the name for Earth in ancient times, and Ea was the beginning of his name. So it became over time Earth, E-A-R-T-H. E-A for the beginning, honoring Enki, and Ki turning into E-A-R-T-H, so it became Earth. But Earth is really named after Enki, just so you can know. If you go back into the tablets, you discover this. Now, he was supposed to be ruling over Earth, but there is no real true information as to why he wasn't given the true full power as his brother Enlil. Enlil ended up ruling and running the planet, superseding him, and he actually had to operate underneath, as far as the totem pole go of power, he was underneath Enlil, even though he wasn't supposed to be. There's no real understanding as to why. We could never find it. Nobody's ever found it yet as to why that happened, but that's the way it happened. Now, Enki was a scientist, an astrophysicist, a geneticist. Enlil was more of a battle king ruler and also an engineer and architect. Okay, and so Enlil created this place called Eden in Mesopotamia, E-D-I-N. And in this Eden, it was an outdoor laboratory with this huge gate and guards, armed guards surrounding it, as evidenced in the Apocrypha text. So if you read the book of Adam, you discover that there were armed guards at the gates to Eden. And those armed guards would prevent you from leaving or prevent you from coming in. Okay. And it wasn't like, hey, you can't come here. It was like, if you come over here, we're going to kill you. And you can read all of that that's a whole nother podcast. Read the book of Adam from the Apocrypha. It was left out of the Bible on purpose because it's too brutal. Adam even tries to commit suicide a couple times. But anyway, because he's so distraught about as what he figured out what happened and who they really were. That's in the Apocrypha text. You can get the complete Apocrypha, or you can get the PDF files online. I typically don't like downloading PDF files from the internet because you don't know what's been altered. I like to get the actual physical book in my hand. That's what I like to do. Okay. And so you have these two guys here. Eden's been created. And you have a lot of these beings coming through in and out that they've been working with creating. So they started with cloning the existing hominid on this planet and using this cloning technique, which would create a worker, but then it would fail because the worker would die early, would die rapidly. And also the worker could not reproduce, right? It's like trying to once you made a donkey or a mule with a horse, the offspring can't have any babies. So whatever splicing technique they used to do this, the failure point was that they couldn't reproduce. And it was a lot of work to keep creating more and more of these offspring the manual way. So they came up with an idea. Their sister did actually. She said, you know what? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the baby to term myself. So that was the solution. So what she did was she took one of the hominids from the captured people that were in the Eden, right, in the laboratory. She took an egg out of the woman and added the essence to it, which means they probably genetically modified it or added some DNA or whatever they did. She made a zygote in modern terms, what we would call a zygote, inserted it into her womb during her menses, and then took the baby to full term, 10 months, according to the tablets, 10 months. And then Adam was born, the first genetically modified, what they called to perfection human being, Homo sapien. So Homo sapien, people were already here. Millions of people were on this planet long before Adam even arrived. So forget that Adam was first and Eve was first, and then they were, no.